Eric. How are you?
I'm doing so well. Thank you, Rama.
Good, good, good. Congratulations on Invasion Season 2, which premiered this week on Apple TV Plus. Now, I don't get to interview a lot of visual effects supervisors, so I'm very excited about this opportunity, especially with you, multiple Emmy winner. When producers Simon Kinberg and David Weil initially created this project and came to you about you taking this on visually, aspects wise, what was your conversation like, and what convinced you to want to realize those visuals for Invasion?
Well, I think it was something where I had spent a number of years doing things that were super real, like real world things. And yet, in my past, I had done a lot of science fiction, and so it was a great opportunity that I couldn't pass up to explore aliens again and things from outer space. To me, something near and dear to my heart. So it didn't take a lot of convincing, but the other thing was, so many things today are derived from, we're redoing this, or, re-envisioning something else, whether it be a comic book or otherwise. And I felt like it was a really unique story. Sure, we've had War of the Worlds and that sort of thing, but this one was going to, as Simon told me, is going to be really character driven, and we had a great time with that, and exploring things in the way that you saw the alien in Alien. You didn't see it much, in the first one, and I think it's one of the best things ever. So that was great in season one, but in season two, he said we're going to step it up. And what supervisor doesn't want to do just that too? We have two new aliens in season two. One that is kind of a metamorphosis from the one that we saw in season one. They actually kind of coalesce, turn themselves off, coalesce into the new version that then wakes up and is a lot more lethal. Fabulous. To me, that was one of the great challenges. But now we also have a sentient being, one that is quite beautiful. I have said many times that I felt it was like a moving blown glass. And the challenge of that, of course, is just trying to get emotions out of blown glass. And I think we did it. We did it with the color. We did it with a little surface texture that it would transition into in times. And you can actually feel this thing when it's wary, and when it's calm, and when it gets hurt. All of these emotions, we're actually able to get it with just tweaking a few things. And with the fine acting and the help of our DP, who gave us a rig to light the environment in a way that this entity that gives off light would interact with the world around it and the actors and characters around it. So it's, I guess, the age-old thing: give a person a challenge, and I'm always one who likes to take challenges. That's what makes life and work so much better. And so Simon asked me to do it, and I said, please, yeah, let me do it.
I loved your previous works, of course, on Watchmen and Black Sails and Jack Ryan and all those other shows, John Adams. So what is unique and different about taking on something like Invasion compared to your previous Emmy-nominated works? Especially, technology has evolved over the years as visual effects go. Like, I noticed the aliens, the spikes move kind of like their own legs, but they also turn themselves inside out as they move into any space. So talk to me about some of the challenges of bringing that into life and making that really believable on the screen.
Yeah, so and also why how it's a different challenge than the other things. Creating a world that doesn't exist is always going to be tough, because you're asking audiences to buy into your ideas about how something moves and how it defies gravity, possibly. Surfaces that we have in our aliens that are what we call ferrofluid.
Mm-hmm.
The ability to sit on a body, and then when they're trying to hear or see the world around them, that these spikes come up all over the surface. And I guess that's kind of it, is to take on a challenge that means finding things that I think are intriguing in the real world, in our world here on Earth, that seem like, with a little bit of sprinkle those things in, and you have some believability. People are like, that could happen, but boy, that's technology that we don't have. And coming up with an ecosystem, I like to say, that you kind of live and breathe all the things, not only the two different aliens and having them share DNA, but the ships themselves. One of the things we talked about is, let's not have rivets and doors and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, there's great science fiction that does that, and I have no problem with any of that. But we wanted these ships and creatures to almost be something that was grown, and which sounds crazy for us in our technology, but that's a great challenge, and something that I thought was really interesting and so much different than anything else I had done. And it's kind of an intelligent way to make science fiction, is to make sure that you set some rules forth for your creatures and your alien world, and you live within those rules, so that people feel like there's been thought that was put into it. It's not just, well, this looks cool, so we're gonna just do it. And yeah, I know it doesn't work with what we've come up with, but who cares? I care. When I watch a show, I care. And so that's kind of my principle in taking on the challenge and enjoying it for the difference that it is from the other things I've done.
My time is running out, but I gotta ask you this final question, like more like a bird's eye view question. You may have heard the news about the visual effects team and certain studios unionizing. What's your take on that, and what is your advice for aspiring artists, visual effects artists that want to come into the industry now that the industry is, as you know, changing drastically? What's your thought on that?
Well, first of all, long time coming. I'm hopeful that if a deal can get done with Marvel and the studios, that it spreads to the greater group of visual effects professionals who, for far too long, have worked without any umbrella, the motion picture industry, health and welfare. That's just something that is a critical step that needed to happen a long time ago. And if the Marvel people are the ones who tip the scale and get this done, then I say bravo, and we all should fall in line right then and there. So hopefully that happens. People, aspiring artists, I would say, learning the software, being there are plenty of jobs for people who are talented, who want to be creative, and take the time to study and get a good core understanding of compositing and the use of those tools, because I think that's where people move through the process and become supervisors, if that's what you want to do, but also mentorships. And I say join the Television Academy. It's something you can get an associate what do they call it? Associate member or whatever. You won't be able to vote, but this is something that people should do, because there are mixers where you get to talk to professionals and go to events that you're going to meet people and ask the questions that open doors for you. Don't be afraid to walk up to someone and say, "Hey, I really like your work. I've been working too, and I'm looking for an opportunity." That's the only way it's going to happen. I mean, Steve Jobs said that, because he was willing to make a phone call and ask a question, and hey, he got an internship at Hewlett Packard, and it was 1979 or something, and off he was going.
Awesome. It's an honor to be talking with you, Erik. And thank you for taking the time, and congratulations on Invasion Season 2. Thank you.